Venus and Earth are almost the same size. They formed at nearly the same time, from the same materials. But one planet became home to life, and the other became a world hot enough to melt lead. This is the story of why Venus is Earth's evil twin. Venus wasn't always seen as hostile. It was once thought to be Earth's mirror. It's only slightly smaller. Venus is about 95% the size of Earth. It has nearly the same gravity. If you stood on Venus, ignoring the heat, you would weigh almost the same. Both planets formed from the same rocky material in the same region of the solar system. By every rule of planetary science, Venus should have been habitable. It has a rocky surface, and it sits right next to us in the solar system. Early astronomers even imagined Venus covered in oceans and jungles, hidden beneath thick clouds. But when we finally looked closer, we realized those clouds were hiding a nightmare. Today, Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system. Not Mercury, Venus. Its surface temperature reaches 460 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt metal. Mercury is closer to the Sun, but it has almost no atmosphere. When the Sun sets on Mercury, temperatures plunge. Venus, on the other hand, is wrapped in an atmosphere so thick that heat can't escape. Day or night, pole to equator. Venus doesn't just get hot, it stays hot. The reason is its atmosphere. Venus is wrapped in an incredibly thick blanket of carbon dioxide, trapping heat in a runaway greenhouse effect. The pressure at the surface is 90 times stronger than Earth's, like being nearly a kilometer underwater. If you could stand on Venus for even a moment, the air would feel more like a solid than a gas. The pressure would crush your lungs before you could breathe. The heat would destroy exposed skin in seconds, and the acidic clouds would burn through unprotected materials. Venus is not just deadly, it is actively hostile. Venus didn't start this way. But once the heating began, there was no escape. The clouds of Venus aren't made of water vapor, they're made of sulfuric acid. Winds whip around the planet at hurricane speeds. Lightning flashes constantly through the sky. And Venus breaks the rules. It rotates backward compared to most planets. A single day on Venus is longer than an entire Venus year. This is a planet that feels wrong. And we know all this because humans dared to send machines there. Landing on Venus is one of the hardest challenges in space exploration. Venera missions were the first to succeed. Some landers survived only minutes before being crushed and cooked. The longest-lasting probe survived just over 2 hours. Engineers knew the landers wouldn't survive long. They designed them knowing failure was guaranteed. Every second mattered. As the cameras transmitted grainy black and white images, temperatures inside the probes climbed rapidly. One by one, their signals went silent. Those few hours remain the only time humans have ever seen Venus from the ground. But in that short time, they sent back humanity's first and only images from Venus's surface. NASA's Magellan mission later mapped the planet using radar, revealing volcanoes, lava plains, and a surface shaped by massive eruptions. Venus wasn't dead. It was violently active. Unlike Earth, Venus has no plate tectonics. There's no system to recycle carbon back into the planet's interior. On Earth, carbon moves between the atmosphere, oceans, and crust. On Venus, it builds up. Once the carbon dioxide entered the atmosphere, It never left. Here's where Venus becomes truly terrifying. Evidence suggests Venus may have once had liquid water, possibly oceans, possibly a stable climate. But as the sun grew brighter, water began to evaporate. Water vapor trapped more heat. The oceans boiled away. Ultraviolet light split the water molecules apart. Hydrogen escaped into space, and Venus crossed a point of no return. This is what scientists call a runaway greenhouse effect. For decades, Venus was ignored in favor of Mars. But that's changing. NASA is preparing new missions like Da Vinci and Veritas. Da Vinci will plunge through Venus's atmosphere to study its chemistry in detail. Veritas will map the surface at unprecedented resolution, searching for signs of active volcanoes and past oceans. Because Venus isn't just about Venus, it's about understanding how planets evolve and how they fail. Venus shows us what happens when a planet loses balance. Earth is protected by oceans, life, and a delicate carbon cycle. Venus lost all three. Scientists don't study Venus out of curiosity. They study it because it represents an outcome, not a prediction, a possibility. Two worlds, born almost identical. One became a cradle for life, the other became a furnace. Venus is Earth's evil twin. Not because it was always evil, but because it shows us how fragile habitability really is.
It's 900 degrees hot at the surface, has powerful high-altitude winds, and is blanketed by a dense carbon dioxide atmosphere. The planet Venus. Although the same size and density as Earth, the similarities end there. Earth has water and life. Venus is desolate, dry, apparently lifeless.
The question is no longer what happened to Venus. The question is, could it ever happen to us? Thanks for watching and helping the channel grow. See you in the next video.